The Monster of the Lake.
Hi, I'm Ale Torres. Thank you very much for reading me. That time I had been driving since the morning towards Tepic, and by the time it started to get dark, my body was already screaming for a rest. So, as soon as I saw a dirt road leading to a field, I thought I had found the perfect place to stretch my legs and get some rest. By the way, if anyone is wondering, there was no bed in the trailer I was driving at the time, so I couldn't get a good rest in there. I work in a company that gives you a lot of freedom, so on several occasions I had the facility to take this kind of long breaks. I parked the truck and took out a tent that I always carry just in case, and I walked to a place in the countryside near a lake. Setting up the tent was a matter of minutes. After so many years of hiking and camping in so many places, I could do it with my eyes closed. With the tent set up, I gathered a couple of logs and built a fire. I sat overlooking the lake with a beer in my hand, enjoying the fire and the sound of crickets. Even the wind seemed to be on my side, blowing just enough to keep me cool, but blowing the campfire smoke away from me. Everything was going perfect, until that thing showed up. I remember it was very quiet here. I could hear everything around me with total clarity. And then, from the depths of the lake, something emerged. It was neither a person nor an animal, but it had elements of both. It walked on 2 legs and was short in stature, maybe 5 feet tall, but it was very dark, and I could barely make out its shape. It moved a couple of meters like apes or gorillas do. It was slow. There I stood, frozen, staring at that monster. I didn't move, I couldn't. And then it made a very strange sound, like a rooster, but much deeper. Then later I thought about the campfire. Since it was lit, it would be like a spotlight in the middle of the darkness, and that thing would see me, and since I wouldn't have time to put it out, I'd better get up and almost start running back to the truck. But strange as it seemed, seconds later, the thing was gone. It plunged into the water again as if it had never been there, completely ignoring me. Well, I don't know if it saw me, but if it did, I didn't care. I grabbed my stuff like a madman and ran to the truck. I was stumbling several times because I didn't even dismantle the tent properly. I just wanted to get out of there. Once inside the vehicle, I stepped on the accelerator and got out of there at full speed. So that's my brief experience, Herr. I hope you liked it.
The Wrong Reflection.
Anonymous, please. I drive a trailer and I want to share with you an event that changed my life, literally. It was a normal night. I was on the road to deliver some supplies to a village. I had been driving for hours, and yes, I was tired, but no more than usual. Since I don't have a rear view mirror, I like to have a mirror there for me to see myself in case it was needed. This mirror was always pointed back at me. That night, I saw something strange in that mirror. I am so used to my reflection moving with me out of the corner of my eye that I immediately sensed something was wrong when it happened. I don't know what move I made that my reflection didn't move the same way I did. Imagine, you're there driving, you scratch your nose or something, and your reflection is still going on like nothing, looking straight ahead. It felt horrible. But I thought, it's tiredness. I need a coffee or something to wake me up. It was an instant thing, but I noticed it. I kept going, tried to forget about it. There could be a lot of logical explanations for what happened. From that moment on, I constantly looked in the mirror, and there was my face doing the same as I should. Seeing that everything was as it should be, I went on my way, but it was starting to scare me, and since I like to listen to scary stories while driving, well, so much the worse. Later it happened again. I made some movement that I don't remember, and I noticed with my peripheral vision that the damn reflection didn't move. I started to feel nervous. It wasn't normal, and I knew it. I tried to focus on the road, on not doing something stupid. But how do you ignore yourself? I tried not to look. I tried to focus on the music, on the sound of the engine, on anything. But I couldn't. I went back to that thing where I kept looking at the mirror. But now I was praying. There I have a rosary hanging there. I grabbed it and put it on. The straw that broke the camel's back happened a couple of kilometers later when I thought everything was fine. At some point, I noticed how the reflection was looking directly at me. I turned to look at the mirror, and in theory, everything was fine because both I and the mirror were seeing each other, but I was sure that the reflection was seeing me. According to me, only a second went by when all this happened, but a second is all it takes for an accident to happen. I almost ran off the road. I hit some fences and almost crashed into a car in front of me. I looked straight ahead and continued on my way, but out of sheer courage and fear, I ripped off the mirror and threw it out the window. Ever since that accident, I can't see a mirror in a car or anywhere without feeling something. I avoid it as much as I can. I feel like it's going to happen to me again, and you don't know the fear I live with. I've thought about going to a psychiatrist and all that, but what if it turns out I'm not crazy? That's what scares me the most, because if it's real, what the hell do I do? I can't keep avoiding my reflection all my life, or maybe I can, I don't know. The truth is that nothing weird has happened to me since, but I'm still left with the fear. I hope with all my heart that it was all a misunderstanding, my tired brain malfunctioning or something.
She jumped.
First of all, I introduce myself. My name is Diego, at your service. I've been driving trucks for more than 15 years. Yes, it's a tough job, a lot of highway, a lot of godforsaken small towns, and a lot of bad coffee at crappy gas stations. I've seen everything. Animals crossing the road, drunk drivers, ugly accidents. But all that is nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. It was at night, with a cold so cold that you can't even get rid of it with 3 jackets. I was on one of those roads that are not even on the map. Then I came to a high bridge, an ordinary bridge. Below was a river, and something made me stop. There was a figure near the middle of the bridge, standing right on the edge. It was a woman, dressed all in white. She was crying, her hands were on her face. Not that I'm a God's bread, but I like to help people, so I stopped the truck on the side of the road, just ahead of the bridge, put it in neutral and got out. I didn't know what to expect, but something told me I had to get to her fast. I had a feeling she was going to launch. I ran like never before. From a few meters before, I started yelling things at her like, "Hey miss, everything okay?" But she didn't even flinch, as if I didn't exist, as if everything around her didn't exist. And I was about to reach out to her. I reached out my hand, thinking maybe I could grab her, stop her from doing something foolish. But at that moment, she jumped. I couldn't believe it. My heart stopped in its tracks. I reached the edge of the bridge almost stumbling, my breath coming in gasps, my heart pounding out of my chest. I looked down, searching the water for her, looking for some sign, something to tell me that this hadn't really happened. But there was nothing. No bubbles, no splash, nothing at all. Just the river, dark, following its course as if nothing had happened, as if the woman had never been there. And there I stayed, glued to the edge of the bridge, looking out at that river that told me nothing, wondering if I had really seen what I think I saw. After the woman jumped, I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, looking dumb-faced, staring at the dark river as if I expected a hand or something to pop out at any moment. Nothing, brother, as if the river had swallowed her. I called 911 and waited. I stood there nearby for quite a while, waiting, smoking all the cigarettes I had and leaving the truck's engine running so I wouldn't get cold stiff. Hours later they arrived, asked a lot of questions, searched the river and the surrounding area. But nothing. No trace of the woman. They took my statement and everything, as if it were a movie, but in the end they left empty-handed. They said that there were no reports of missing women in the area, that maybe it was an optical illusion, or that I was tired. In other words, they treated me like I was crazy. In the end, everyone went their own way. I was really angry because I felt that the police didn't even care. I don't know how this type of case works or should work, but the fact that everyone went to their normal activities without a proper investigation bothered me a lot. But hey, you guys will draw your own conclusions.
The Black Cat.
Hello, Herr. Nice to greet you. Anonymous, please. This story begins on a road they hardly use, so abandoned that it's not well lit, you don't pass a soul, and the asphalt is neglected. I was driving normal when suddenly a black cat with a single half-large white spot on its back crossed in front of my trailer and was illuminated by the headlights. I braked as best I could, and the animal crouched there in front, staring at the trailer for a few seconds, and then suddenly it jumped up and took off. This could have been a random, unimportant encounter, but from that moment on, everything changed because I started seeing the same cat everywhere. I would stop at a service area to get a coffee or go to the bathroom, and there he would be, watching me from afar. I would get off in a town to deliver something, and somehow the cat was there too. I didn't know how he did it, but he always found me. And the worst thing is that he even started appearing in my dreams. In the dream, I'm on the same lonely road, and the cat comes across again, and it starts all over again. It's like I'm stuck in a loop or something. And the crazy thing is that after that, the routes I was assigned at work got weirder and weirder. They would send me to towns that when I looked them up on the internet, it turns out they had stories of witchcraft or black cats. It couldn't be a coincidence, could it? It would also happen to me that the lights in my house or in the trailer would start flickering on their own. That yes, it could be electrical faults, but it just happens whenever I think of the cat or when I feel like I'm being watched. It's like someone or something is playing with me. What was really the limit for me was that one day on the road, there was a very bad accident. The traffic was very slow, so when I passed near the accident, I could see everything in detail. And there were the wrecked cars, the ambulances, the policemen, the insurance, and in a place half away, there was the black cat with the white spot. I kept looking at him, but he was only observing the accident. The truth is that all this is something I can't explain, and it scares me a lot. What does this cat mean? I think that even for the most incredulous, my experience cannot be a mere coincidence. But well, I hope it's nothing bad for me. Thanks for reading me. I hope to be able to appear in a video. I'd be happy to listen to myself while I'm driving.